this is Jenna Burt, host of the Confessions of a Military Spouse podcast. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Bryce Burge, host of Your Soccer Passport here on Public House Media. After this episode, come join us on a trip around the soccer world as we discuss club and country every Tuesday. Stamp your soccer passport by subscribing on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your Public House Media podcasts. And thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
History is happening in High Point as professional baseball has come to Furniture City. Don't miss any of the action from strikeouts,
3-2 cold strike 3 right at the knees,
to web gems,
stabbed by Alfonso, he spins, throws to first, and the pick by Bichette rounds out a beautiful play.
to home runs,
High fly ball deep left field. This one is gone. Get up and get out. Tyler Ladendorf.
and of course, every rockin' victory.
The pitch. Swing, strikeout, the Rockers win! The first win in Rockers history here at home.
Interviews, recaps, and insights from across the Atlantic League. It's all fresh off the Rockers.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Off the Rockers. I'm Kevin McMahon, the voice of the Rockers, the play-by-play voice, and we're joined by James Jackson, the media relations coordinator for the High Point Rockers. James, as always, it's good to see you.
It's honestly a pleasure, Kevin. I couldn't think of being in a better place on my afternoon than spending it with you.
Well, I hope you mean that.
I do.
This is the fourth, right?
I think so, yeah.
This is the fourth episode of Off the Rockers. We are live from BB&T Point, and the Rockers just won their second straight game against the New Britain Bees. It's 2 in a row for the Rockers after dropping the first game of the series. On Friday, they bounced back on Saturday and Sunday. 2 great performances, and they win the series against a Liberty Division rival in the New Britain Bees. And James, let's start with a larger look at the Atlantic League. And I think the story has been just how good this Liberty Division has been.
It's honestly the most competitive division out of the two. And Long Island is playing amazing. Who else we got in second? We're in second currently at the moment of this recording.
With 21 wins?
Yeah, Somerset is in third and New Britain's in fourth. Now, all 4 of those teams, when you look at it as a whole, are really impressive on the field. Like, they play really great baseball, and they really make a run for it. Like, we were all within a half a game at one point.
I was going to say, it's very close. The Rockers are currently in second, but there's only a 1-game difference in distance between us and the quote-unquote fourth-place team in the Bees. They're fourth place, but I put the quotes there because they're not playing like a fourth-place team. They're playing like a first-place team. They're playing great baseball. And the Bees just rattled off a 10-game win streak. The Rockers snapped it yesterday with a win. And this was a red-hot Bees team, and the Rockers showed a lot of character, a lot of heart by getting a big win here yesterday and today. And if we look back to yesterday's game, the guy we spoke to last week on the podcast, Seth Simmons, played a huge role in being able to win the game yesterday.
Seth Simmons has really come into his own when he's on the mound. Now he's really found his rhythm and hasn't let up. He's now in top 10 league leaders, and I think ERA at the moment. I believe so. He's really playing great baseball, and he's really proven it.
Absolutely. And then today, it was Hector Gomez who had a bunch of big hits. I think he was 4 for 4 today. Seemed to be scoring a lot, whether he was touching the plate or hitting in runs, and ended up having a huge RBI double to help the Rockers explode in the bottom of the 8th inning for 3 runs for a comeback 6-5 win over the Bees. Trevor Frank came in and got the save, and it was just a great great day. And it was Taking Back Sunday.
It really was. Adam Lazar, who was here from Taking Back Sunday.
The band?
Yes, the band. Threw out the first pitch and met fans, signed a couple autographs, signed a pair of Rockers Taking Back Sunday themed high socks that we are auctioning off on LiveSource, or maybe by the time of this auction it's probably over, or the time of this recording. But
you should still go over to LiveSource because there's a bunch of other Rockers jerseys and there's Rockers experiences. There's a bunch of stuff on there that's really cool. So you should still go over there and take a look and see what they got going over there at LiveSource.
But we had a lot of fun today. Adam was great. He was very excited to come out. Being a High Point native, he was very excited to come back and see the ballpark. He went out with his kids today, and they were running the bases and had a great time. And it really was a family day for him. Yeah,
it was really cool to have him. Like you said, a High Point native, and what's cooler than coming back to your hometown and kind of having a day that's for you. That we were playing, the Rockers were playing his music throughout the game, and he came out and gave the first pitch to a big reaction. And great pitch, made it across the plate. I know he was nervous about that.
Give him a contract. He threw that one.
Yeah, he did a great pitch, and he was so great with his time, so nice. He came in and he joined us for a little sit-down interview. You're going to hear another voice on the podcast today in the interview. And that's Ash Fields, who does color commentary with me on the broadcast. So Ash jumped in. He is actually a big Taking Back Sunday fan. So I wanted to bring him in and let him ask a question. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a step back and we're going to let you listen to that interview with the lead man of Taking Back Sunday, Adam Lazara. Here he is. Here's Adam. He was the guest of honor, if you will, at BB&T Point for Taking Back Sunday. Here's me, Ash, and Adam a little bit earlier on Taking Back Sunday. Hey, Rockers fans, Kevin McMahon here, and we're joined by Adam Lazara, the lead singer of Taking Back Sunday. It's Taking Back Sunday here at the ballpark, so we're happy to have you.
Yeah, I'm very happy to be here. I was shocked when I got the call asking if I wanted to throw out a pitch. It's not quite what we're known for, but we're happy to be here. This is great.
I want to start off with this first question. What makes you more nervous? Sellout crowd, for you guys, or throwing out the first pitch today? What makes you more nervous?
Hands down, throwing out the first pitch. See, because at least if there's a sold out crowd and somebody makes a mistake, you have the group to. It's everybody that was messing up, not just you. To whereas this, it's just me out there, so it's a little more makes me a little more nervous.
Let's stick with baseball for right now. Growing up in High Point, for the Rockers to be here, we were kind of spying on you. We saw you out there with the family, running around the bases, kind of taking it all in. What does this mean to have a team like the Rockers in High Point and for you to be able to come back and have this moment?
Well, for us, I remember I played the YMCA, had a league here, and when I was in school, so I played with them, but just to see how much High Point has changed over the years, and then even driving here through downtown, there's so much of it that it's just hard to recognize. It's changed so much since I was a kid. So to have something like this here and to make it more of a destination, I mean, it definitely makes helps that kind of hometown pride come out a little more.
Does it make it a little bit more special to have this day? You said you were excited to be here, excited to get the call. Does it make it a little bit more special that you have your family here and able to do all the stuff? You're taking pictures and running around like that.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like my son Keaton when we walked out on the field. His eyes just got giant because he realized that that's where they were taking us. And then like you said, he ran around the bases. So this is a big deal for all of us. I'm just glad we could share it. My parents are here, and then my godmother. So it's going to be a good day.
I'm going to be honest. I'm 22, so I'm not completely familiar with the music. But we got Ash Fields here, and he is. Can I say your age? You're 33, and he knows the music. So he has a very insider question. He's a fan, so he wanted to ask a little question for you.
I just remember from your song "Make Damn Sure."
Yeah,
I remember from the video you had that bit where you had the cheetah attacking the antelope.
Yeah,
was that a band decision, or was that an outside person decided to put that in the video? Or?
You loved it, right?
Well, Yeah.
Was it like a band, like that you guys as a band made that decision? Or was it like you, or who made that decision to put that in there?
Well, the general idea for the video at the time was just to kind of try to show something beautiful coming out of something terrible, or like, because there's also these other things of like or like a building falling that then turns into a wave, things like that. So like the cheetah attacking the antelope, it's been a while since I've revisited the video. I can't remember what it changed into, but I just always love that juxtaposition of just something that's very potentially dangerous or that someone could see as like a negative thing, and then but it having a twist of turning into something beautiful.
Okay, yeah, that's great.
So, yeah.
And I'm sure you've answered this question before, but if we're keeping it local, is there anything? Have you been back to High Point in a while, or is this your first time back in a while?
There's no, like, we come through. My dad lives in Thomasville, which is just kind of the town over, and so we there's a place over on Eastchester called the Biscuit Factory, and it's one of my favorite restaurants in the whole world. I've been everywhere, but every time we come home, we try to make the trip up to go there.
So when you come back to High Point, is there a certain place in particular, or a certain place that you walk by and you go, that really inspired me, that you maybe took into your music at all? Is there any place like that, or am I making that up?
Or like, no, I think growing up here inspired of a lot of what I do, just because for us at the time in High Point, there wasn't a lot to do. We'd go out on our skateboards and try not to get kicked out of downtown and things like that. So there was there's a lot of those feelings, of course, when I had moved, they carried over into the music.
So last question for you. Thank you so much for coming up here.
Yeah, of course.
Are you much of a baseball fan? When it comes to baseball, do you have a team, or do you have any memories that jump out to you playing baseball as a young kid?
Well, in my grandfather, he didn't have, or like my grandparents didn't have cable or anything, but he got this special package so he could get WGN to watch the Cubs. So I grew up watching the Cubs, and then as I've gotten older, like actually, it's funny because in the band, our guitar player John is a huge Mets fan. He's from Long Island, but our tour manager Andy, who's been with us for years, he's also a huge Cubs fan. So normally in baseball season, if we're on the road or anything, that's what'll be on, is either the Mets or the Cubs.
Well, that's awesome. We appreciate you so much for stopping by, Adam, and we know you're going to make damn sure you get the ball across the plate tonight.
I'm going to do my best. Yeah.
We'll be cheering for you up here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Thank you for taking the time.
We want to say a big thank you to Adam, who stopped by with us and was just so great. I hope you enjoyed that interview. And we loved having him at the ballpark today, and we loved honoring Taking Back Sunday, didn't we, James?
Yeah, it was an amazing day. Honestly, one of my favorite theme nights of the whole year so far. I'm currently rocking my high socks, looking like a fool with my khaki pants tucked into my high socks.
You look great.
I look like a handsome devil, but it was a fun time, and I'd love having these theme nights that we could just go out and have a great time.
It was a high sock Sunday, and the Rockers were celebrating, and they celebrated with a win. So not only did Adam Lazzara swing by, but we have a double interview episode for you, because we have a new guy on the Rockers who's come in and played great so far, about 10 games in. He is a native from the Bronx in New York, Viosergey Rosa, and I'm really excited for you guys to hear this interview. First of all, he's wonderful. He's wonderful to talk to, extremely nice, and super intelligent, has a great outlook and attitude about life, and really, really fun to listen to and talk to, and very smart. Taught me some things. So I'm very excited for you to hear this interview. James was in here when we did it, and Viosergey Rosa, just a great guy, and really interesting to hear from.
Not just a great guy, but a great baseball player.
Absolutely.
As well, I mean, he's hitting dingers left and right when he's killing it, man. I really love having him here, and he's a great addition to the team. And
he's jumped in right away, and we talk about it in the interview, but he's jumped in right away and been helpful and contributed to helping out the High Point Rockers. And when you hear a little bit about his story and the journey it took for him to get here, it'll make you like him even more. So enough of me pontificating about how great he is and James telling you what a great baseball player he is. Let's go ahead and listen to the man. Here he is, Viosergey Rosa. Viosergey, thanks so much for joining us.
No, thank you guys.
And let's start with, first, you've played 8 games in a Rockers uniform, and looking at your stats before you walked in here, you're playing pretty good. You're hitting about a 300. You've had a handful of RBIs, 5, I believe, 2 home runs, so you're really getting a feel at the plate and playing well. What's helped you get so acclimated so early with this new team?
Well, first I got to give a shout out to Jamie and and Billy as well, as like putting like the right group of guys, the right personalities in the dugout. Not in the dugout, in the clubhouse. Some of these guys that have played and the ones that I haven't, they were real welcoming from the first day I got here. It's just how easy everything is, not having to be somebody that you're not. Everybody's themselves, and there's room for everybody at our clubhouse. But I think with my success so far at the plate, it's just been having a very stoic approach when I'm up there. Like before, I used to be really hard on myself on ABs, just like pertaining to what it is. I'll take 1,000 hacks, I'll take all that other stuff, and now it's like after playing in Mexico and 2 teams just this year and doing well and still getting released, I'm like, you know what, I kind of got to switch it up. I'm not going to be happy just 30% of the time of my life just because things don't work out. So it's like if things work out, amazing. If they don't, amazing as well, because I know I can't curse, right? Okay. I busted my tail, and I did everything I could do to have success, but you can't control things in nature. Just learn how to just take everything as it goes, whether it be negative or positive, or just things that don't go the way that I wanted to, but in the long run ends up working out.
And somehow the road in your baseball career led to High Point, North Carolina. The short story, I guess, the short version, I guess, but you didn't start the season with the Rockers, as you just alluded to. So what was your season like? What were you doing in May? And then how do you end up here at BB&T Point for the Rockers?
Okay, so it started in March. I signed with the team in Mexico. Signed with the same team that I played for last year and did really well with them last year. Started this year with the team. Season started out and everything, and I was hitting 287, 3 homers, 10 RBIs in 15 games. And the GM calls me and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna have to let you go." And I'm like, "Well, what's the reason?" He's like, "Oh, we just need pitching. It's not that you didn't do well. We love your personality here, but you'll get picked up by somebody else. Don't worry about it." So I sat out about a week. Sat out a week there. I came back and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to, wait it out and see what it is. And I spoke to one of my coaches, one of my summer ball coaches from high school, Ian Millman, and he told me, "Hey, we have, I think you should just play in the Atlantic League. Just forget about Mexico this year. We just need to get going, man, because, your numbers and the way you can hit, like, something good is going to come of this." So
you don't want to sit a whole season. I don't want to get away from you.
No, not at all. I don't want to keep waiting on the fact that I wasn't practicing. So I came out, and my girl is from High Point, by the way. So that's the main reason why I wanted to play here. So I wanted to get in contact with Jamie or Billy. I didn't know them personally, obviously, prior to this. And he told me he knew a little bit of Billy. He hit up Billy. And he was like, "Hey, we're going to see what we have." I guess he spoke to Jamie. They needed a lefty hitter in the lineup with some thump. And then, I was like, "I'm your guy." And we we spoke about that stuff. And he was like, "Hey, we're on the road. Get your flight for High Point, and we'll meet up here for opening day here at BB&T." Oh, I'm like, "I'm already here at High Point." He's like, "Oh, perfect then. So when you come here, just, we'll talk. I'll leave you tickets for opening day. It's just, right now, the team just started and all that else." So I said, "Hey, I don't have a problem waiting," or whatever. And then a team called from Mexico, another team, Campeche, and they went and they picked me up. They called me and they were like, "Hey, like, would you want to sign with us?" and stuff like that. And I said, "Man, like, I'm literally verbally committed to this team over here." And they were like, "Hey, we're really interested. You try to make a decision as soon as possible, because, there's other guys that want to fill that position." I went out there and I stayed there. That was one of the toughest decisions to make. But my girl was like, "Hey, like, we really do need the money, so let's just keep going." Went to Mexico. I spoke to Jamie.
And when is this?
This is like maybe 2.5 weeks ago.
Okay.
And I went out there, and like without any practice or anything, Jamie got to introduce me to Mo, I think he's coaching up in Christian school over there, in private school. But either way, so he's talking to me, and I'm working on the stuff. So then I go to Mexico, and I called Jamie. Jamie, he was ironically, he took it really well. He's like, "Hey, we're gonna be here. Things don't work out, let me know. If it's not this year, we'll love to have you here." I was like, perfect, because I didn't think he was gonna take it like that, and nobody's gonna take a no the best way after somebody already tells you yes. So I went out there for 6 games. And did well, got a hit every game. 6 games, I think I got 4 RBIs, homer, and they released me. I went and spoke to Tim, and I was like, "Hey, Tim."
And who's that?
Tim Johnson. He was the manager in Mexico. Unfortunately, he had to resign because his wife was going on some health issues, so he had to fly back to the States, which is fine. And he called me. He was just, I loved you as a player. I actually just got done off the phone with the High Point manager, and I spoke really highly of you. I told him what type of player you were. So again, I said, I'm going to sit out a week. I'll sit out a week in Mexico. I was in Campeche, and I was just kind of like enjoying it there. But the reason why I enjoyed it was because I started looking into, you ever heard of Marcus Aurelius?
No. I have not.
Very slow, no. So he happens to be a... He was an emperor, but this is way back in the days of either way, long story short, they spoke about stoicism, and it's about taking things that happen in life, the same way. Just pretty much what I told you.
And it's what you just said again. Who?
Marcus Aurelius.
And that's the story.
Yes, and I mean, this is how stoicism and God, started. Not with him, it started before him, but he was one of the famous emperors that took that stuff. Guys more that we would know that kind of had a stoic approach towards things was Nelson Mandela. He actually they smuggled in one of his books into prison to Nelson Mandela, and it's by Marcus Aurelius, Meditations, which has nothing to do with meditation. It just has to do with, it's his journal when he was campaigning to be the emperor and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That stuff. So
this is someone from Mexico. No, okay.
No, this was a Roman emperor.
Okay, you gotta help me out here. I'm not a history.
Sorry.
Okay.
So
we're learning a lot here.
There you go. That's awesome. So So I went and I started looking more into that, and I continue going on that, and I kind of went back to my old routine of reading. Just continue reading and just trying to broaden my stuff as opposed to just being on social media and just seeing what's going on. Actually, something that'll help me out, and it calmed me down a lot. And I even started picking up on actually meditation as well. I started with 2 minutes. I'm up to 10 now. I can almost get to the pose where you can meditate. So it's real calming, man, and just taking everything, man, and just seeing the beauty in life, man. We get stuck, especially in this game. It's a game on failure. So we're not really optimistic with a lot of things that go on. We're real sarcastic. We talk bad about ourselves without even knowing it, just because it's funny. But I really started taking it to heart of that, being a lot more positive, and just trying to get the guys around me, whoever it is, just trying to be that positive guy. I know nobody likes that guy because it's you cannot see the beauty in everything, but it's been a fun journey so far these past 2 weeks. So.
And somehow you make it to High Point.
Yes.
You get to play 8 games after being in Mexico and being in High Point, then back in Mexico. Then you come back. You have 8 games under your belt so far. You're playing well. Mm-hmm. What does that mean to you to be because you kind of bet on yourself. And what does that mean to you? I bet on myself, and somebody's finally bought in on me, and I knew I'm playing well, and I'm contributing to a team.
Yeah, I mean, when I got here, granted, the team was in first place when I got here. I didn't think I had a chance of even when I called Jamie, but thank God and thank him for receiving me here. And I feel good, right? But regardless whether the outcome wasn't going to be swinging it well, so be it. I went and had first at bat, and I had I didn't have jitters for the first time. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't anything like that. Without seeing a live pitcher in 2 weeks, and then boom, I hit one to left center, and it felt really good to do that. And the next day I go 2 for 4 with a homer and a double, and I'm like, okay, this is really working for me. Let's continue going. And then that Sunday was Dominican Mother's Day, and my parents are all there, and I left I think it was 12 tickets for a game in Connecticut. They drove 2 hours. Then when they get there, the jitters start coming in again, and I'm kind of putting pressure on myself. I'm like, dude, what are you doing, man? Like, just enjoy it. Like, regardless of what it is, you're still going to be alive after this. So just let it go. And, whether good or bad, the family still loves you. And went 1 for 5 with like 2 punchies, but it ended up working out, man. So, like I said, I'm just having that approach about it and that on life, and things ironically tend to work out better. At least I like to think so.
Well, thank you for coming up here and sharing a little bit of your story. And I think after that insight on your last 2 weeks, Rocker, anybody, a baseball fan in general, they're really going to dig you, man. So thank you so much for coming up here. Appreciate it.
Appreciate your time, man.
A huge thanks to Viosergey Rosa. What a guy. Love talking to him. He's an absolute joy to hear from and an absolute joy to watch. A great player. As you heard, has a great attitude about life. So I hope you really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed getting a chance to talk to him. Now what we're going to do is something really special. We're going to send it down to James Jackson in the High Point Rockers Event Center, and he is going to give us the update, everything we need to know about what is going on at BB&T Point and why you need to come out to the ballpark and what you can expect to see when you come out. James, what is happening? Because there's something always happening.
Fans, on June 3rd, Monday, it's Merch Monday. We don't know what the deal is.
You got to come and find out. You never
out.
know what it's going to be.
You check our social media and you'll find out. But on Tuesday, June 4th, it's Taco Tuesday. Chef Jason Perry makes the best specialty tacos. Wonderful, wonderful food to eat.
You can get them for $1, correct? Or $2. It's cheap.
It's cheap.
It's
I don't know. It's cheap. It's cheap and good. June 5th is school day. It's a school day in the morning.
And so the kids will be out here, 10:30 start. Ashfields will be jumping around with the kids at 10:30. He loves the kids. He loves the school days.
June 6th is our favorite night. It is Dollar Beer Nights and Bros Night Out.
And it's Bros Night Out is why it's our favorite, because we'll be here. We're bros.
We're bros.
And we're having a night out. There it is.
Schedule all my bro interns, and we're all going to work in Bros Night. It's definitely going to be a fun time. Look forward to seeing you guys out here with yourself and all your bros. And
bring your bros.
Have a couple beers with your bros.
Bring your bros.
Spoil them, man.
And tell us about a very big night, the one that we're very excited about happening at BB&T Point. It's going to be next series. And all those promotions we just said are going to happen during this series against the York Revolution coming up. A team that is in the Freedom Division and, a great opponent, another great opponent from the Atlantic League. Everyone should come out to cheer on and support your Rockers against the Revolution. But what's happening on June 14th, James?
June 14th against the Long Island Ducks is Military Appreciation Night. The High Point Rockers really do love and support everyone who's been in the military and who served this country. And honestly, this is our way of giving back to all those who have served in this wonderful country. So June 14th, come on out and celebrate Military Appreciation Night with us as we give back to you guys and we honor all those who have served this amazing country.
It should be a great night. That'll be the next homestand, and that'll be against the Long Island Ducks on June 14th. But we're going to talk about here and now, and what's here and now is a 4-game homestand against the York Revolution. It starts Monday, June 3rd at 6:30. That's tomorrow. And then it's today if you're listening to this.
Today if you're listening on Monday.
And June 4th, Tuesday, 6:30. So Monday and Tuesday, 6:30 starts. Wednesday is school day at 10:30 in the morning. And then Thursday is Bros Night Out, 6:30, $1 alcoholic beverages. Come out and have yourself a good time. It should be great. We can't wait to see you. Thank you so much to being such a great listener to Off the Rockers. We hope to see you at the ballpark real soon. But unfortunately right now, we must bid you adieu. Goodbye.
Good night.
We'll see you next time. And we'll see you at the ballpark. Come see us at BB&T Point.